What's up, guys? It's Josh of J Bauer Art, Back Talk with Bauer, and we are going to be chatting Lego tonight with my guest Jason Miller. But before we get to that, we got to pay the bills, keep the lights on, and all that good stuff. So we got to talk about the one, the only Kingdom of Comics, proud sponsors of Back Talk with Bauer. You can find them at 4320 South Babcock Street in Melbourne, Florida. Or you can head over to kingdomofcomics.com or facebook.com/Kingdom of Comics Shop. Make sure to put 2 S's in there or you won't be able to find them. So they've got new comics. They're now authorized CGC dealer, toys, graphic novels, rare collectibles, pop, statues, back issues, and so much more. The shop is fantastic. It is like going into like a cool person's hangout. Like, it's just so comfortable in there. It barely feels like a comic shop. It feels like just a place to go and chill and enjoy the everything that's going on in there. I forgot to turn my phone on silent. But you just go in there and you get to chill. And they've got a bar there. They've got comics everywhere, statues. I mean, tons of stuff. Jason and Paula are amazing folks. They make you feel like you're at home, and they take great care of you. And they take great care of you if you're in the shop, or if you can't make it inside the shop. If you're messaging them or contacting them through social media somehow, they take care of you just as well there. So make sure to head over on a Friday. You can get half off any beer with the purchase of a trade paperback or graphic novel. And also, they've got an event coming up this Saturday. They got an indie comic creator event, March 20th. It starts at 11 a.m., goes to 4 p.m. They're going to have a couple of different comic creators there. Travis Gibb from Orange something. I wrote that terribly. David Bryan from Scouts Comics, and Roland Mann from Silverline Comics. And they're all going to be signing stuff, doing stuff there, hanging out, having a great time. And I am actually going to be heading out there for a little bit. I am going to head down there and switch out some of the paintings, because Kingdom of Comics not only supports this show, but also supports my artist side. And they got a bunch of paintings hanging up on the wall, which shout out to the awesome person that purchased the Venom Spider-Man piece. I greatly appreciate that. But I'm going to switch out some stuff, grab the Harry Potter one for an art show coming up next month. But I'll be hanging out for a little bit. So if you are, if you saw the sale that I have going on, or you want to hang out, say hi to me, or whatever it is, head over to Kingdom of Comics Shop. I'll probably be there starting about 11 and be there for a few hours. Kind of just winging it. If you're going to be there at a certain time and you want to see me, meet me, or hang out or whatever, let me know so I can stick around for whenever you're going to get there. Other than that, please support Kingdom of Comics. They are incredible people, incredible fans, and Jason and Paula are so awesome to support the show, have my artwork up on the walls, and go check out a local comic shop too. If you're in anywhere in the Florida area, it's worth the drive. And there's an awesome hot dog shop down the street, so you can do the comic shop and get some hot dogs and then head home, which is what I do all the time. So please head over to kingdomofcomics.com and support the people that support me. Now let's get this show on the road. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Back Talk with Bauer. I am Josh of J Bauer Art, and this is episode number 50 of Back Talk with Bauer. And for the first time, we are actually streaming live on the Back Talk with Bauer Facebook page. Yes, there is a good job, Josh. There is a Back Talk with Bauer Facebook page. I just rebranded my old podcast that I did with a buddy of mine and basically turned it into mine. So, yeah, type in Back Talk with Bauer on Facebook and you can go and like the page. So whoever's tuning in from there, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Just to let everybody know, if you like the artwork behind me, want to check out more of my artwork, like the shirt, like the podcast, any of that good stuff, you can head over to jbauerart.com. By the way, I am having a giant art sale right now. Why am I having a giant art sale? I know all you bastards got the stimulus check, and I'm going to try to take advantage of it. I'm an honest guy. No, I'm also trying to clean out the creative cave here, get rid of some older paintings, try to get a little space cleaned up around here. So I thought it'd be a great time. There are $75 off or more off all paintings. If you head over to jbauerart.com and type in or click on the art shop tab, you can check out all the paintings. The paintings are marked $75 or more off. And then if you are interested in prints, you can get buy one, get one free if you use the promo code STIMULUS at checkout. So you can get as many prints as you want, and it'll be buy one, get one free. And prints are just $10. So head over to jbauerart.com to purchase any of the artwork. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to ask. If you're in the Central Florida area and want to save on some shipping, even save more money, message me. You can pay through me, through PayPal, or we'll get it set up whatever way you need to. And we can meet up somewhere so I can just hand the painting over. Saves you like $50 in shipping because paintings are not cheap to ship. So please head over to jbauerart.com for all that awesomeness. And I'm also doing a giveaway on Instagram. So type in jbauerart on Instagram, follow the page, and check out the newest post as of right now, Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And you can get all the details on how to enter. What's up, Brian Oliver? Good to see you, sir. Kyle Nunez, thank you for popping in all the way from Holland. So for those that may or may not know, I am a big Lego fan. I actually have, you can actually check out the HWWS WebTV YouTube channel. You can see some time-lapse videos of me building different sets that I have collected over the years. You guys have seen the Batmobile that I own. You have probably seen, I got a little Batmobile up here and another one up here, and I change those out every so often. So I am a big Lego fan. And a new fan just let me know he's found my artwork. He actually purchased one of the paintings that you'll see in the background with him. But he let me know that he is involved with Lego in a very cool way. And I'm like, okay, you can't tell me that and then not come on the podcast. I'm like, would you be down for getting on the podcast? He goes, let me check if I'm allowed first, because he works for the official people. So we didn't want anybody getting in trouble. So Josh is going to try to swear a little bit less tonight. But let me welcome and introduce Jason Miller. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing well.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and chat with me about your favorite subject. And there's the painting itself. Man, it was so awesome. Because I was kind of bummed. So side story real quick. I was kind of bummed because I love that painting. I was actually sad when it sold. And that happens very few times. Usually I'm okay with it. But that was one of those ones that I was like, I'm happy it sold, but it was a good one.
And it was a good conversation with my wife going, can I please? I really like this. Can I please? And she finally was like, okay.
That's awesome. Well, again, tell your wife I said thank you. But it was at Hourglass Brewery for, I think, their December art show. It was a Back to the Future December art show. And I put it into there, and I really thought it would sell. I thought it would do great. And it came back to me. I'm like, oh, man, come on. And, like, I think I posted it, and I think the next day you messaged me, or it was, like, real quick. You're like, yeah, I'd like to have that. I'm like, huh? So, again, thank you so much for purchasing that.
Yeah, because I was unable to purchase this guy.
Ah, yes.
Because we didn't have the funds, but then I think we got paid or something like that, and then we were able to okay, we can pick up that other one.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
So let me do a real quick share so people are actually watching more.
Hey.
So what was before your promotion? Because we talked before we went live. What were you before your promotion?
So before the promotion, I was a model designer for the LegoLand Parks and Resorts.
Okay. So you actually work for Lego.
I work for LegoLand, which is basically, it's owned by the Merlin Corporation.
Okay.
Lego is kind of a separate identity. Up until about almost 2 years ago, we were actually completely separate. Merlin is a theme park company. The quick rundown is LegoLand or Lego opened up the very first park in Billund, and they were running it, but then they quickly realized they know Lego, but they don't know how to run a theme park. So they partnered with Merlin. And then over the years, Merlin took more and more controlling stake until eventually Merlin bought out Lego and became basically the sole proprietor of the LegoLand parks. Okay. And then licensed the name Lego from the Lego Corporation.
Okay, gotcha.
But then a funny thing happened a couple of years ago. The LegoLand or Merlin Corporation was a publicly traded stock, and they ended up selling it to a private investor. Mm-hmm. And the private investor was made up of 3 groups, and one of the groups is actually the family behind the Lego.
Oh, okay. So they kind of got it back in a weird way.
They kind of got it back in a weird way. So we're kind of family now, but not like it's like a second cousin twice removed type of situation.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Interesting. So before we delve into what you used to do and what you do now, have you been a fan of Lego since you were a kid? How'd you get into it? Let's get some backstory in here.
So I played with Lego until... I grew up with it pretty much. Mm-hmm. I'm 36 or will be 36 this year.
Okay.
And like early 90s, I was playing with it, the Cowboys and the Deep Sea and Castle and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. When I went to college, I had to give it up because there's not exactly room in a dorm room to house Lego.
Yeah, not so much.
So I gave it up, and my wife actually got me back into it. She knew that I still was a fan of Lego, and I'd had a really rough week at work, I think it was, no, I was unemployed, and I'd had a really rough week, like dealing with being unemployed. And she took me to the Lego store and was like, pick a set. Nothing too big, but just pick something, and it'll keep you busy during the week, maybe keep your mind off of things that are going on. And that actually led to a job.
Wow.
And so I started work with the Lego company in 2000, and I believe it was 8. Okay. And worked for 2 years at the Disney Springs location, designing store displays for them back long before they have this nice new fancy store now. They used to have a demonstration area in the center of the store that they would basically say, all right, this week it's going to be Star Wars, or this week it's going to be Friends, or this week it's going to be racing. And we had to create a display using the current sets to show kids what they could do at home. So I applied for a position, got a position as a cashier. They gave me a shot in the arena, as we called it, and they were impressed. So I became one of I think there were 3 of us full-time builders for the shop. Any of the store set displays that needed to be built, like new sets came out, we needed to build them to show what kids what they look like. We would build those. Any of the store displays, we'd build those. We would run birthday parties and special events and all that other fun stuff. So that's how I got back into Lego, was basically getting back to work for the Lego company.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Now, so we see some sets in the background you've been building for a really long time. Are you real fast at it? Because my wife thinks that Lego tortures me as I go, because luckily it's all pictures when you do them. But sometimes like you miss like a little sneaky block here and there. So are you fast at it?
I would consider myself fast. I know there are people that are faster than me, and I know that I'm out of practice at the moment, so I'm not as fast as I used to be.
Okay.
But I'm also getting older as the gray hairs in my beard. But I mean, I am on the faster side. Like I'd say maybe a $40 set will take me an hour or less.
Okay.
If that, I mean, it all depends on what it is. Like something like you got one of the modular buildings here. Yeah. Something like that would probably take me about 3 hours, if that.
Yeah, that's definitely fast. To a person that is not fast, yeah, that's definitely fast. I love the home buildings, by the way. Like, I so want them. I just can't fork over the money on them. Usually I talk my mother-in-law, that like some of the big boys that I have, because I have like the full-size Batmobile. I've got the Batwing. My mother-in-law has been kind enough to buy them for Christmas/birthday. So I've gotten away with that one. But some of those. Whew. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's a different one.
It's the Batman Beyond one.
Oh.
So I think if you turn the steering wheel, it actually does it. Yeah, there it goes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Shows the boosters. So yeah, I've got a big collection of random bits and bobs. Like I could literally go over here, over
Oh,
here. There,
yeah.
I've got a Dalek in front of me on my desk. I've got a Ghostbusters thing. Like, yeah, I'm a big nerd.
I've just recently, like in the last few years, gotten back into it and wanting to build it. And then I kind of got more into it. It's been because painting used to be my relaxation. It kind of works with you. Like Legos was kind of yours, but you've worked with it too much. So now not so much. That's how painting was with me. Like painting has become more of a job now. So to like get something that takes my mind off of that, I get into building the Legos and stuff. So once in a while, I try to like sell a piece and then go, okay, I'm gonna go take this money to go buy Lego,
buy Lego, or buy
once in a blue moon,
buy a video game or something, right?
Yeah, video game once in a blue moon, and yeah, I try to treat myself here and there. So you get into you're building at the Disney Springs location, building there, and then what's some of the cool like big things you built there?
So let me think here. So back when I was there is when Toy Story 3 came out.
Oh,
so
okay.
That kind of dates it. I think it was 2008 or 2009. And we actually recreated Andy's bedroom in this area.
Oh, that's awesome.
With the minifigures being pretty close to accurate size from the movies.
Oh, wow.
So like a huge bed and like a huge chest. We did so the display area. It was 3 circular tables that were multi-leveled, so different heights and different size widths. So trying to build across the 3 sometimes was a nightmare. But we ended up creating a giant mining mountain that took up all 3 of them and had caves in it and lit areas and things like that. We had a elevated train track for City one week that actually went all the way around all 3 areas. We created a mini golf course based on scenes from Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
So we had a Mustafar area with Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting overhead. And then the biggest thing that I created, which ties into how I moved forward, is I'm going to say what it is, and then I'll tell you the story afterwards.
Yeah.
I created, and I was probably about a 10-foot tall Washington Monument.
Holy cow.
We ended up that week, we had a bunch of white brick on the wall, and they're like, as long as you put it back where it was supposed to go, you can use whatever you want. I'm like, okay, cool. So this thing, I mean, I'm 6'3", and this thing literally went to the ceiling of the shop.
Wow.
And my best friend, who was also my best man at my wedding, worked with me, and he was one of the guys in the arena, and he had created like a 5-foot tall Sears tower. And I get back and do this Washington Monument, and he just comes up to me and he goes, "I hate you." He's like, here I was thinking I created something cool, a 5-foot Sears tower, and you walk in and you create an 11-foot tall Washington Monument. I hate you. But pretty much how that happened is I got married in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And we did our honeymoon in San Diego and in Anaheim, because I had never been to Disneyland. I had never been to a LegoLand. I was like, it'd be a great, we take a week, we go check out California, go to a couple of the theme parks and just relax.
Right.
And we went down to LegoLand. There was a guy working in Miniland, and I was taking pictures of everything. And he's like, "You're really interested in this, aren't you?" Yeah. I mean, this is kind of what I do. I work for the Lego store, and I design displays that are kind of like this. So I'm taking photos so that way I have reference. If I ever need, a city, here's a great city that's already been made, I can take elements from it and create my own.
Right.
And he goes, "Can I see photos of that?" Yeah, sure. I pull up my phone. My wife is wandering around Miniland, and I'll show him, and he's like, "Come with me." And I'm like, "Okay." And I disappear. And my wife tells it later. She's like, "I looked for you for 30 minutes. Where were you?" What happened is the guy was actually one of the animation techs for Miniland, and he took me into the model shop in the park to show me
wow.
what the real model shop was like. And we chatted for a while, and he's like, can I get your email address, and can you email me those photos? I'm like, sure. And he goes, they're actually hiring model builders here in California, and I think you'd be perfect for it. If you give me your information, I'd like to forward it on to my boss, and he can contact you about what it would entail and what we can, what you can do. And I said, oh, okay. Not even blinking an eye. And I get home, and because I was inspired from the park, that's why I created the giant Washington Monument, because I had seen a giant Washington Monument.
Okay.
And I got a call about an email first, and then a call about a week later from a guy named Pat, who was like, "Hey, I was showing your art, and I really think you're doing great stuff. Would you be interested in flying out to California for an interview?" And I was like, "Well, sure, but only under one concern." And he's like, "What's that?" And I go, "I hear rumor that they're building a LegoLand park here in Florida. Do you think that it would be something that I could go out there, work for a little bit, and then when the new park opens, come back to Florida and open the park, and that way, I can be home?"
Right.
And he goes, "I can't guarantee anything, but it's a possibility. If you do good work, there's nothing saying you wouldn't." So I go out for the interview over a weekend, do the interview process. It's an hour-long process. You have to build different models. They give you different cues and things like that you have to do. There's a speed build, there's a group build, and then there's a free build. And I actually you can't see it on screen, but I actually still have my free build model here in my office.
That's cool.
Because when I got the job, they were like, they gave everyone who got the job, they gave them back their model and said, "You can keep this."
Oh, that's neat.
So I actually, tying back to the Washington Monument, I have about a 2.5 foot tall Washington Monument right over there that's made out of Lego. But pretty much, I got home, I got a call saying, "We would love for you to take the job." And that's when reality hit. My wife's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" Can we afford 2 households?
Mm-hmm.
And what are you going to do, on your own out there? Because my wife could not transfer her job, and she's the one at the time, and still is, the one who makes more money in the relationship. Mm-hmm. So, I can't have her going, not having a job,
right,
especially in California. So it was like, oh, well, crap. So I ended up calling them and saying, "Look, I can't take the job. I'm sorry. I really want to, but money, I can't afford it."
Mm-hmm.
And I left a message with the HR lady, and not even 30 minutes later, we find an ad on Craigslist for a room for rent in California, in the San Diego area, not even 10 miles from the park.
Oh, wow.
For $500 a month, utilities included.
Wow.
And I went, this is a sign
that
somebody wants me to do this, because $500, we can easily, afford that. That is not a problem. And so I called back again. I was like, "Ignore that last message. Ignore that last message.
Don't even play it.
I'll accept the position." And so I did. And I actually moved out to California by myself 2 months after getting married to my wife.
Oh my God.
Which she'll never let me forget. She always reminds me anytime she can. "Remember that time you left me for 6 months right after getting married?" Yeah, I remember that.
I don't even know. My wife and I have been together for 14 years, married 6, and I don't even know if I could get away with that now, let alone just right after getting married or something.
We've been together for 13 years. We've been married for 10 of that.
Okay.
So we were together for 3 years before I pulled that stunt.
Yeah.
And she was mad at me,
right,
but she also knew that there was this was what I wanted to do with my life. Like I was actually about to sign a contract with Full Sail to learn how to be a director, to do director of filmography. And I found this job and was like, this is perfect. And it's really funny because when I was growing up, the one thing that I wanted to do more than anything else was I actually wanted to be a Disney Imagineer.
Okay.
I wanted to create rides and attractions for theme parks. Like I still have a passion for theme parks because of it. So I saw it as a natural progression in that field without having to go to school because I don't have a college degree. So I took the job. I packed half of my belongings into my Chevy Malibu, and I literally drove cross country. I drove from here to San Diego in about 3 days, almost 2, but 3 days.
Right.
And I lived out there for 6 months and learned how to do the job and met a bunch of people. And pretty much anybody who had any connection to the LegoLand Florida Park, the introduction would go, "Hi, my name's Jason. Nice to meet you. I want to go home." And they'd go, "What do you mean you want to go home?" And I'm like, "I'm originally from Florida. I would love to open your park. If you give me the opportunity, I would love to head back home." And I kept having managers go, "There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee." Right. And I'd already spoke with my wife, and I'm like, if the end of 6 months we don't have a definitive, you're coming home by X date, you're coming home. And I was like, fair enough. I can do that. So pretty much I'm getting an echo now. I don't know why.
I don't hear it on here.
You don't hear it? It was me. I don't know. Okay. So weird. So I worked out there for 6 months. On Christmas break is when I found out that I got the position in LegoLand, Florida.
Wow.
And I'd flown home to spend time with my wife and her family, and we were at Mall of Millennia having dinner, and I got a call saying, "Hey, just want to let you know, starting in January, you are going to be back home." And I was like, "What?" So 2011, I opened up the LegoLand Florida Resort and was with them until about 5 years ago. And then I transferred to the Merlin Magic Making Hub out of Lake Wales, which works on parks all around the world.
Okay.
About 3 years into being at the theme park or at LegoLand Florida, I was promoted to model designer from model builder. And then recently, and about a month ago, I was promoted again, and now I'm a model props creative, designing displays for new theme parks being built for LegoLand.
Wow. Okay, so that's
a long story. I know.
No, you're good. No, it's mind blowing and very cool. I love hearing like when people there's just those certain you meet the right people or you're in the right spot and it just like kind of and then you proved yourself, of course. So you were able to go out there, do it, and then they finally sent you back home. So the first job you have with them, like going into California and then coming and opening this park, what exactly did you do for that job?
So within the model shop, there's basically two positions. There is a model builder and a model designer. The model designer is the one who's given the actual project and said, "We want you to design this model. All right, we're gonna do a recreation of the Empire State Building. Mm-hmm. It needs to be X feet tall, this wide, this deep. Go. You have this amount of hours to make it." Once the model has been approved for budget, people are happy with the way it looks. It's going to fit in with the surrounding buildings. Mm-hmm. It's then passed on to a model builder, and the model builder's job is to take the designer's instructions and build their model.
Okay. So the designer is doing it in a computer?
Depends.
Okay.
Back when I first started, it was all physical prototypes. So they would literally get up. If we needed a fire engine, they would build parts of a fire engine. And they wouldn't build the whole thing, because if it's a fire engine, it's mirrored on both sides. There's no point in building both halves if only one half. They would then pass that physical prototype to a builder and say, build. Nowadays, 90% of it, 90 to probably 95% of it is done digitally. So we have two softwares we use. One is Lego Digital Designer, which is a free program anybody can download. It's no longer being supported by Lego, but you can still use it. And we have our own proprietary version of that software that we use. And then the other one is called Lego Brick Builder. And that is a proprietary software. You can't download it anywhere. And that helps us build the really, really large sculptures. You know, the big dinos, or at the theme park, there's those huge models. Those are the ones that are usually built in Brick Builder.
That is crazy. That's really cool. So what are some, between the California and then coming over into Florida, what are some of your favorite builds that you got to do?
There's a lot of them. Some of them I cannot say because they have not been unveiled yet. Because
even to now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because you got to think, when a theme park gets announced, the project has probably already been going for 6 months before that.
Yeah.
And we build until and probably we finish each park roughly about 3 to 6 months before the actual opening. We have a couple of expansions that have been announced but not opened. And because they haven't opened, I can't physically say what's in them.
Gotcha.
So I mean, I worked. So when I worked at LegoLand Florida, I worked on just Florida. It was nothing but LegoLand Florida. I did a recreation, about a 7 or 8 foot recreation of the Orlando Eye that actually rotates.
Oh wow,
that one's pretty cool. I did a Hearse, a Lego Hearse modeled after the Monster Fighter series that was out a couple years ago. That was 13 feet long, 8 feet tall, and about 4.5, 5 feet wide.
Wow,
it's a big boy.
Right.
And then at the Merlin Magic Making, I've worked on projects for Korea, Japan, England, for New York, which is one of the projects that I can't talk about.
Right. I've heard about the New York one. That would be really cool.
I can say it's gonna be a pretty awesome park. It's gonna be one of the largest mini lands we've done to date. It's gonna be a destination.
New York here again soon.
It's in the town of Goshen, which is about 45 minutes to an hour from New York City.
Okay.
So it's not too bad.
That's not bad.
Then we've also got an expansion to an existing park going into Italy, and that one has some big stuff that I've done as well.
May I interrupt real quick, because I'm just curious, because I did not realize how many Lego. Do you know how many LegoLands there are around the world?
A lot.
Really?
So there are going to be 3 in the U.S. We have California, Florida, New York.
Okay.
We have one in Malaysia.
Wow.
We have one in Japan. We have one in Dubai. We have one in Germany. One in England. I'm trying to think. I think those are the only ones that are fully announced right now.
Okay.
But there are more coming. Otherwise, I wouldn't have this new position.
Gotcha. So they're kind of been picking up the pace over the past few years and bringing out more.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And the expansion that we announced for Italy for the Gardaland Park. It's the first of its kind water park with Lego that's ever been done.
Oh wow.
Because every LegoLand park we've ever done it's a LegoLand park, not an attachment to another park.
Okay.
So it's that one I'm really excited to see the guest reaction for, because there's some really, really incredible models that myself and my coworkers did that are absolutely beautiful. That's
awesome.
So I've got a lot of stuff under my belt. I was a model designer / model builder for 10 years.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of hard to pick out just a few. But
yeah. I mean, I know there's always like a couple here and there that are like favorites to build, and then I know my next question would be least favorite or most complicated, because as a creator myself, I know there's paintings that I absolutely love, and there's paintings that I was this close to setting on fire. So
I've had those multiple times. But I don't know what you're talking about. No.
No, Lego, we didn't set anything on fire.
What are you talking about? Can't say it. No. There have been quite a few models that have been headaches. One of the ones in Italy that I designed is a massive, massive structure. Fully built. It's longer than 18 feet and probably taller than 9 feet.
Okay.
And about 7 feet wide.
Wow.
And I think I spent over 600 hours designing it.
Just designing it.
Just designing it. That wasn't the build budget. That was just designing it. And there were some moments where I wanted to pull out my hair because at a certain point, the software hits its limit.
Oh,
it's like I don't want to move anymore, and you're literally clicking, dragging to move it over so you can see something else, and it takes 30 minutes for it to actually load. Because there's that
with Illustrator and graphic design stuff. You got so much into there and so much stuff. Like you go and hit a click and you're waiting, just strumming your fingers, waiting for it to go to where it needs to. It's a nightmare.
So that one was a headache. I mean, a lot of my hates have been like a love hate, like the Hearse. It was, I love that design. I think it looks amazing. I hated building it. But it needed to get done. So we did. I think we were working because we were on a deadline. It was kind of something special they wanted to put out for Halloween. And we were working 14 to 16 hour days.
Ooh.
Like getting up bright and early and then leaving long after it was dark just to try and make sure that this was rolled out on time, for viewing. So that was a pain. There's been one project, and unfortunately, I can't talk about it.
I'm having you on in a year.
Wait. No, actually, I can talk about it because I believe it got scrapped. I'm pretty sure it got scrapped. Before COVID, back in I think it was November or December of 2019.
Back in the days.
Back in those good old days, they gave me a project to design a super brick build for the Lego Discovery Centers, which the Discovery Centers are basically indoor, smaller versions of a LegoLand park. Okay. So there's like a 4D theater, there's one or two small rides, there's a mini land that's based around minifigures, not the mini land figures that we build for regular parks. And it was based all around Trolls.
The movie?
The movie.
Okay.
The new movie.
Yeah.
And there was so much back and forth about what it should look like, what colors should be used, how we get the pieces in time to be able to build it, that by the end of it, I was like, I never want to see a troll doll again in my life. I never want to see... No. And I ended up going on vacation right before everything shut down in February of last year. And me and my wife went out to California to visit with some friends who were visiting from England, and they decided they wanted to go to Universal for the day. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. I've never been to Universal in California. Let's do it. And I don't know if you've ever been to that park.
I have not.
So the park is built on the side of a mountain. Okay. Park is divided into two sections. There's the top portion, and then there's a lower portion.
Oh, okay.
And you have to take these giant escalators down the side of the mountain to get between the two areas. And all along the side of the escalators are posters for Trolls World Tour. And my wife and our friends were just like, Jason, you see that? You see that? You love that, right? You love that? You want to go see that? I'm like, no. So that was definitely one project that I was like, I never.
Right.
And the funny thing is I actually enjoyed the first Troll movies. I thought it was cute. I have not seen the second one.
I have not seen the Troll movies. Just one of those ones that never hit where I'm like, oh yeah, let's go see it. Like never caught my attention.
It has Anna Kendrick in it, so it can't
see, that's probably the only thing that would have sold me is Anna Kendrick. Because I love her. I keep getting distracted by your puppy.
Oh, is she walking in? Oh, hi, baby.
It's like right when we first started, I'm sitting here and you're talking, and I see this movement. I'm like, it's a puppy, and I got all excited.
Come here, you.
Oh,
this is Sasha.
Hi, Sasha.
This is our puppy.
Well, then it was really funny because I'm getting distracted by your puppy, and then my smallest dog Coco was in here, and of course she's causing trouble. So when I had to get up real quick, that was her wanting out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my dog, like, she starts off in here, and then all of a sudden she's just like, and I keep the door shut because of my wife doing different stuff and everything. So I gotta let her out real quick, right in the middle of doing the show every time.
Yeah, you can see the light in the doorway. That's my wife in the other room reading.
Probably listening in on this. Lights are on the same color, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Mine stays blue though.
Yours stays blue. I don't have attention span for the staying. I like the nice transition. There you go. Oh, I love the red because I always do the red we have it in the pantry.
Mm-hmm.
So I always turn it on and I'm like, Satan's closet.
Well, I mean, I also stream video games, so like,
right.
I think the blue is very calming for people who are watching me in a small corner in the corner of the whatever.
I eventually want to do, when we get our own house, I want to have almost this setup again, maybe a little bit different, a little bit bigger, and I want a little bit more lights. And then I've been playing around with the idea of getting lightsabers to hang in between each canvas. And so I could just turn them on before the show. Do you have lightsabers too?
I have my lightsabers right over there. I have two of them, and I think I'm getting a third on my birthday.
Oh, nice.
So
I did ask my wife, I don't know if it'd be this year, but I saw the video. I think it's in the new Star Wars land that's in Disney, where you get to like fully create, like it's a full immersion thing, create your lightsaber. And I looked at my wife, I'm like, if you want to know what I want for my birthday, of some kind of like, because I never know what I want. I'm like, you remember this. I want this. This would be cool.
Do it.
You have done it?
Do it. It is completely off topic, but it is.
Oh, that's amazing. What this show is made for.
it's that's actually what one of the lightsabers is it's my own
nice
white saber.
Oh, nice.
But I made it, and I'm very fortunate. I've been in Orlando since 2003, and I've actually worked for theme parks that entire time. So I've made a lot of friends in the theme park industry, and one of them was actually chosen to be a friend of the main character from Savi's workshop.
Oh, wow.
So we were blessed enough to actually be able to have to watch him train a class, which was really cool. Seeing a friend doing that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we've done it. My wife has one, and I have one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been playing around with the idea a bit because I'm always trying to make this look as good, and I'm sure you are too with your Twitch stuff and everything. I always want this looking as cool as possible, as nice and fancy. And do you watch Sci-Fi Wire YouTube channel at all?
No, I haven't.
So there's a guy, I can't remember the show's name, but it's things you didn't know about, like different old cartoons and stuff. He mostly sticks to cartoons from the 80s and things like that, or like any kind of cartoon. But his setup is so awesome. His camera's farther back. He has a little podium, and then like the podium has some toys on it. He has his laptop, so you see the laptop and everything. And then behind him is like shelves and all kinds of stuff with all of his toys. Like every toy he collected, like it's like a geek's paradise. And I'm like, I kind of want to idle off that, but kind of mash his and mine together. And I'm really thinking lightsabers between the paintings would take it to a next level.
That's kind of what I was going for. I see it. Yep. I literally just pulled it up.
Oh yeah,
he's got so many pops. So many pops.
Like I can't imagine, because I'm a bit of a neat freak, and like I always think about having to dust stuff and clean it and everything. And I'm just going, that looks really cool, but it'd be a nightmare to dust.
Lego is a nightmare to dust. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah. I have my Batmobile sitting up over there, and I pulled it down the other day to show off on the show, and it's just a dust mess. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that one that I just showed you, the entire top thing is white. It's bad.
I'm surprised they haven't come out with like a fancy Lego duster, or somebody invented something for it yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's got to be something that you could do. We'll work on that later.
Okay, $1 million idea right there.
Yeah, that's how we'll make our millions, and we'll be good to go. So we've talked about, now, are there any like doing this job and doing this job for so long, is there any like really cool experience that you've got to do, got your hands on special sets? Like there's got to be some, because the job to me sounds cool. I know after a while it gets kind of like, man,
I don't know what you're talking about.
No. But that's
never.
Yeah, any job you get into, everything sounds phenomenal from the outside, but you do it every day for years upon years. It does wear on you a bit. I mean, I've been doing the painting for 7 years, and I did the conventions for 7 years, and everybody thinks like going to a convention as an artist is all fun and games. Like, no, it's not at all. There's cool moments, but most of the time it's a lot of work, a lot of sweat, and lots of tears. But is there some like really cool moments that stick out, over the past few years?
Yes. One of them has nothing to do really with the current job.
Okay.
So I'm a very loquacious, very out there person. Like I talk to, if you're on the street and like you're wearing a cool piece of clothing, I'll probably start a conversation with you. I'm that type of guy.
Right.
Very, outgoing. Me and my wife visited England, and we're both big Doctor Who fans.
Okay.
Big Doctor Who fans. And we found out while we were in London that there was one shop in all of London that is dedicated to Doctor Who.
Only one?
There's only one. And it's not even officially licensed. It's privately owned.
Okay.
But it's actually a shop and a museum, and it's called the Who Shop. Which duh. If you ever get over to London, definitely visit them.
Yeah.
They charge, I think it's £1 or £2 to go through their museum.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like set pieces, like Tardis consoles. They've got do you know Doctor Who?
My wife was into it for real strong for a hot minute, so I kind of got it through osmosis.
There was a character in the first new season called Cassandra, which was basically like a skin that was stretched over a frame. Okay. They have her.
Oh wow.
They have some of the costume pieces from the actual Doctor. They got costume pieces from other characters, and you get to, and like there's no barriers. It's like you're right there in front of it. Mm-hmm. Super nice lady that owns the store, and we got talking, and we ended up spending the entire day there. It got to the point where we were just chit-chatting, and I ended up starting to give tours of the museum, and my wife was folding T-shirts because we were just enjoying hanging out with this wonderful lady and like, going back and forth. Fast forward a year, I got invited back to a wedding in England, a friend of mine from when I was growing up. Okay. And we go back out. And we go visit her again, and she's like, "Oh my God, how have you been? It's been so long since I've seen you." And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in San Diego in about a month for this thing called Comic-Con. Have you ever heard of this?" And I went, "Yes, I've heard of Comic-Con. I've always wanted to go to Comic-Con." Yes, and she's like, "It's funny you mentioned that. I actually need an assistant. Are you willing to fly out to California and go to, I need you to work, but in your downtime, like I'll give you some times during the day to walk around the show floor, and you can walk around before we open." I'm like, "Sure." So I worked Comic-Con in I think it was 2013, and I flew out, and because of my connections, I was given a raffle ticket for a minifigure with the possibility that I could win, I could not win. It was just like up in the air, and I won a Green Arrow minifigure.
Oh wow!
Limited edition, 500 were made, like super rare minifigure.
Oh, wow.
Had nothing to do with the job. It was just the fact that I had told the guy, look, this is what I do for a living. And I was chit-chatting with him about what I did at the Lego booth. And he's like, here, just take a ticket. I'm like, okay. I kept that figure until last year. And last year
really?
I sold it.
Oh.
And I sold that figure for $1,600.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta swear. Holy shit!
Yeah. So that's one of the big ones that I've gotten. I've gotten a couple of sets from the Lego tour in Denmark, and things like that. That may seem cool, but with something coming up, what I'm going to say might be even cooler, is when I worked for the park. They had a thing where if you were on a VIP tour, you got to come into the model shop, you got to build with a model builder, and basically myself or whoever was working that day would build with you. And we actually have this little set that we'd build with you, and then you get to take it home and take photos with each other, and hey, you get to see a picture with a model builder, and off you go. And this one day, the VIP tour lady comes early without her group, and she goes, I need you to be calm. We've got an extra special VIP today. Him and his family are visiting. He's an up and coming actor, and I want you just to have a heads up so that you're not taken aback when he walks in. And I go, okay, who is it? And she goes, his name is Anthony Mackie. And you might know him as Falcon from the Marvel movies. And I went, excuse me? Excuse me? And I'm a huge Anthony Mackie fan. Like he's done phenomenal work in and out of the Marvel universe.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, this is going to be a good day for me. This is going to be a really good day. So we meet. Were
you allowed to call dibs
on what?
On working with him, or
oh no, it was already assumed it was me.
Oh, okay.
It was so because of my communication skills. Usually, if it was a VIP of a certain caliber or higher, it automatically went to me.
I wish I had those communication skills.
And like I said, it comes from years of working in theme parks. Like I was a Jungle Cruise skipper. I was a presenter for Interventions at Disney. Like I've spoken for a large portion of my life.
Right.
And so he arrives, and I shake his hand. It's like, pleasure to meet you. Just gonna let you know I'm a huge fan. But we're here for your kids, so we're gonna focus on them today. And he's like, cool. And so I did my normal tour and showed him around the model shop and pointed out things here, there, and everywhere. And
right.
Built with them. And when I was done, he's like, hey, would you like a photo? And I went, yes, I would love one if they will allow me. He's like, well, I'm perfectly fine with it. If you want to do that, it's fine. So I get out my phone and we take a selfie. And at the time, we had just opened the hotel, and we were gathering signatures for celebrities for our wall in the hotel. So we make these little star plaques, and the star is supposed to sign on the star, and then there's a little slot below where we actually like print out their name and stick it so that people who may not recognize the signature can know who it is. So we hand him the plaque and ask him to sign it, and he signs on the little spot below. And they're like, well, actually, we need you to sign on the star. Here's a different one. Can you sign this other one? And so he signed the second one, and we're talking again. This guy he's a comic book fan.
Right.
Like, he knows his stuff about Falcon. Super nice. The whole family was extremely nice. And at the very end, he pulls me aside and he's like, I just want to thank you. You did a great job, focusing on my child, and I appreciate it. And he's like, you're a fan of the Falcon? I was like, yes, I am. He's like, I can't say anything, but you're really going to enjoy Ant-Man. And I'm like, okay. Because this was before Ant-Man had come out. Right. And I'm like, okay. And so when I first watched Ant-Man and that scene between him and Scott Lang outside the Avengers campus, I'm like, I was like, awesome. That's what he was talking about. Because I guess he had already filmed it by that point. Right. And I'm like, so I was like, that was an amazing experience. And he and his family left, and my boss was looking at the two plaques, and he goes to grab window cleaner, and he's like, I'm just gonna wipe off this other one so we can use it for the next celebrity. And I went, I will give you the money for the brick if you hand me that plaque. And so he did. I actually, in the hallway over here, I have that signed plaque, Anthony Mackie. So cool. And then I've got the photo. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to actually cut out the photo in the shape of the star and stick it in.
Oh, awesome.
Where it is. So that he's there. But yeah, that's my prized possession from my time. Right. There's been a lot of other really cool things. Like, I've got grand opening bricks from LegoLand Japan, and from LegoLand New York, I think.
Oh, wow.
Like, I've got stickers from the grand opening of the park here. I've got a couple of prototype models from things that I created over the years at the park, that the end of their run, they were just going to toss them, or pretty much what we do is we break things apart and then ship them off. They melt them down and repurpose them.
Oh, okay.
But models can't last forever. So some of them are in my house, of things that I created for displays for, like, the opening of the Chima ride that was short-lived at the park. I've actually got a boat that I made. Wow. We opened up a display at in our imagination zone here in Florida about how solar power works and things like that. And I had to create a couple of houses to show how solar panels could light up houses. Wow. Of course, I made my house. And when it was done and they decided they didn't want that display anymore, my old boss actually brought me the house to the hub, or the Merlin Magic Making Hub, and said, Jason, you should have this. It's your house, right? I was like, yeah, it is. And so I have that downstairs. So little things like that, but
so cool.
There's little memories.
That's fantastic. It's got to be, for a person that doesn't get to see it all the time, it's got to be awesome to see your room, which is so many different things. I mean, even just your back wall there. We were talking, I don't know if we talked about it before or after we started, but I'm jealous that you have the buildings in the background. I really want some of those, because those are just so fun to see and build. And but yeah, it's got to be really cool to be chilling in your room.
It's a nerd haven in here. I've got Fallout helmets, lightsabers. I've got Star Wars models, posters from the Lego movie, from Comic-Con. I'm trying to see what else. Pop vinyls, all sorts of artwork, including yours.
Yeah, which is much appreciated.
And a bunch of other stuff. So
that's fantastic, man. Well, we've already killed an hour.
What? No.
Yeah, it was. I gotta say, I want to have you on again, maybe in another 6 months or so. Once other stuff gets released, we can have you back on and talk about some other things that have happened and things like that. But it was very cool and fun chatting with you. I know you do the streaming on Twitch. How can people follow you, support you with that, and all that good stuff? I
am Horizons Man. On Twitch. I also have a YouTube channel under the same name. So that's HORIZONSMAN. And I usually stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday each week. And I even do an event on Friday nights at 8 called the Friday Night Shit Show. Nice. Hey, look, I cuss too. And at 8 o'clock, we actually start with Jackbox games and play Jackbox games for 2 hours. And then it's basically a free-for-all with a couple of my streamer buddies, and we usually play something like GTA, Rocket League, something multiplayer that involves the community.
Very cool. And then do me a favor when we're done here, message me the links to those, and I'll make sure to drop them in the YouTube channel when this is up on YouTube and all the wherever it goes after this, so you guys can check out those links as well. But yeah, thank you so much, Jason. It was a pleasure chatting with you. It's so cool. I am jealous on many things. And that's the difference, like, and this is going to be a whole other discussion, but you remind me of my mom, who can just talk to anybody and very conversational on it. I am the total opposite of that. I can talk to people once I know them. Like, if I know you, but like going up cold to people or being in a big group of people and talking to them, no, I sit in my own little corner and I hide.
I'll make it super, super quick. Those friends that I met from England in California.
Yeah.
I met them waiting in line for a bus at the Harry Potter tour in London because the husband was wearing a shirt that said Animal Kingdom on it. And I went, I live right down the street from that. And we ended up talking all the way home. And then they ended up meeting us at the train station the next morning for breakfast and talked for another couple of hours.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you're a lot like my mom. I wish I had it. My mom can make and has made friends in a airport bathroom. That is our running.
I haven't done that one.
Yeah, that is like we were in the airport one time. She comes out and she goes, "Oh yeah, I was talking to this lady." I'm like, "You made friends in the bathroom?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, okay. So, and then like she ran into her later, I think. It's weird. She's super I wish I had like a tenth of what she does with talking to people and everything, because like my art and everything I do would be way higher. But I'm such a introvert and stuff like that but yeah, so
and look at you now hosting your own show.
Yeah. See, I just have to talk to one person on this most of the time. And then if it's any more than that, it's usually friends that I hogtie to get into here. So like one-on-one, I'm always good. And I talk to people a little bit through messaging. So like I kind of break the ice, but there's been a couple, like I had, I want to say it was Doug Stone, voice actor. I had we talked a little bit through Messenger, but it was like the first time we talked was on here. Oh my God, I was so nervous. I'm like, how do I do a show again? But everybody dug that episode. So yeah, I pull it out of my ass when I can. And a lot of people actually are surprised when I say I'm very introverted and don't talk to people. They're like, no, I'm like, when I want to sell this stuff, I will talk. But any other time, no. But yeah, so please make sure to follow Jason on YouTube and Twitch. I am Josh J. Bauer Art. This has been Back Talk with Bauer, episode number 50. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm on. If you want to just check out the audio version or want to have the audio version to listen to later, if you can't watch this whole episode, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, all the good stuff like that. And you can find it all at jbauerart.com. Please check out the sale. Tons of paintings. These bad boys all right here are usually $250 each. They're now $175 plus shipping and handling. So, and again, if you're in the Central Florida area, hit me up and we will save you on shipping. But I am trying to clean some stock. So let's get things moving. So other than that, hope you guys have a great week, and I will catch you guys next week. Later.